Hello, this is part 2 of my self-assessment. I'm sorry it's so long. Okay, right, my movement. This is my posture. I'd say I'd give it about an 8. I feel that my posture is quite strong throughout, but I could make it more. Where Good Joe is a little more slanted and Bad Joe is a little bit more, upright and confident in himself. So that would be why that's an 8. Facial expressions, another 8, I'd say. I could do with a more clear defining line between Good Joe and Bad Joe by using a lot more facial expressions. But I do keep it quite. I do use the obviously appropriate facial expressions for the each character. But it could be more. Gestures, same again, about an 8. I could make it more animated and bigger, just for gestures, just to make a more defining line between good and bad. But a lot of my movements and gestures and stuff are as part of dances, so I do them still. Use of tension. I suppose I use tension quite well. So, for example, in the scene where Sarah and Callum are they're getting it on, and I'm in there, the tension between Sarah and Callum and myself is quite up there because I make it feel quite awkward by just being standing rather than being like walking around the space and making it more comfortable. I'm just like stood there and just like staring at them to make it more like that. Okay, openness and confidence. I'd say about an 8. I suppose confidence is part of the character, and lack of confidence is part of the character as well. But personally, the confidence in the role is quite decent. I think for the dancing and singing, it does take a lot of confidence, which I've kind of gained throughout this show. So it is quite up there, and I think with a bit more work, I can have a bit more confidence in it, and show my characters more confidently. Use of space, I'd say about an 8, 9, because I use the space quite a lot with Bad Joe, whereas Good Joe is obviously a little bit more refined and doesn't use that much space, but he could still use more to be a bit more animated and fit with the style of theatre, so that much better. Eye contact. Well, when I am on stage, I try and keep the eye contact with the other people on stage, because that's what you sort of play off. You sort of get the feelings and emotions of that character when you're looking at them in the eyes, which I kind of I do to play it off their emotions. So that's up there, about an 8, 9. Energy, I'd say a 10. I put 110% into every rehearsal. It's getting quite hard, I'm not gonna lie, because obviously I'm on for the whole 2 hours. My energy sort of makes everyone's energy grim, sort of thing. So if I, for example, went through a show and was just like, what are the words, it's Sunday best, mother's tired, she needs rest, not put any energy, people would feel really crap about it, and people wouldn't put that much energy in because they've got nothing to play off. So I always have to put 110% in to make sure I get the best out of everyone. Spatial awareness. Spatial awareness, I'd say about a 6 or a 7 out of 10. There's been a few times where I bumped into people and all that lot because I'm concentrating too much on movements and vocals and everything like that. Sometimes I do knock into something or kick a prop or drop my hat or something like that due to a mistake like that. But it's getting better. Audience interaction, I'd say about an 8 or a 9 out of 10, because a lot of my things that I have to do towards the audience, and a lot of the interaction with the audience is part of the character as well, and I'm getting better at it, and I get my comedy timing right when it's against the audience, and I look at them at the right times and that stuff. but obviously there's always room for improvement, and I can use it a bit more and be a bit more definite with it. Timing, again, timing about 9. A lot of my timing is with the band, for what I do and stuff like that. So it's quite hard not to be if we rehearse it over and over again with the music. The music sort of helps it stick into your brain. And memory, even though there's still bits and bobs that I'm not doing, that I keep like going off, like I mentioned before, like going off stage left instead of stage right, or something like that. I think I've done well to absorb all this information all at once, and try and keep all my movements, my choreography, my singing, my dancing, my acting, and everything all into one sort of thing. I'm doing quite well. So I'd say about probably between like a 9.5. I'd say, because it could be a little bit better. But I think overall it's not bad. So that goes without saying about the organisation, line learning, and movement, etc. section. That is, I've been trying to be as organised as possible, but it's quite hard to stay in trying not to get into a bit of a tizzy when you're getting stressed about everything like that. Just by learning all the line, when you're just constantly learning more and more stuff, the more you have to learn, the more scary it is, because the more chance you're going to slip up. Statistically, if you've got more lines, you're more than likely going to slip up on at least one of them. So it does stress you out quite a bit, but I've learned them quite well. Yeah. So, sorry, an action plan. Okay, so the action plan, I've been saying little bits and bobs all the way through my rating process on myself, and that is my action plan to go over this and work on the bits that I've mentioned that I've been bad at, and mentioned that I could, on the ones that I want to up my score and a little bit more. Work on my characterization, work on my animation as well, which is the main ones, and facial expressions, and also work on my vocals a little bit on a couple of the songs, and that's my action plan for that. And finally, what elements of performance work really well? I think Sun in the Rain is fantastic. It's one of my favourite numbers in the show. It's full of character, and it's full of emotion. It's full of a few different styles of, styles of dance and choreography and all that lot. And I think it worked. I think it all works really well. And I like the contrast between, say, Sun in the Rain and Baggy Trousers, even though they're so completely different. All the energy and stuff is still the same. It's still high. It's still up there, and it still keeps everyone interested. What can the group improve on? Tightening up little bits and bobs, I'd say. Making sure everything is in sync, making sure everything is working well together, and helping out the people that are having a bit more of a tough time learning the choreography and singing and all that lot. And that's, I think we just need to work on a lot of the harmonies that we have together as well. But that's about that. Anything about the performance which could have been made better? The harmonies for some of the vocals, the timing for when the backing singers come in, that was sometimes a little off. I think there's just little tiny bits and bobs that aren't that noticeable. It's just literally nitpicking, because people have done so bloody well in this show. They really have. So picking out bad points is quite difficult. But I think overall, just to improve it, we just need to work a bit better as a group. Make sure everyone's there at rehearsals on time. To make sure everyone asks if they're feeling unsure about something. and just basically working together to make one massively amazing performance, and that's how you can improve it. Okay, that was my